1 hour per day of deep, focused work is all you really need to change the course of your life. 1 hour per day can be the difference between living a mediocre life on autopilot and building a life that you truly love. So in this video, I'll break down how to incorporate deep work into your daily lifestyle. I'll talk about what you should actually work on during a deep work session, when to do your deep work, and how to actually get your deep work done. What to work on. So you already probably understand the importance of doing deep work. The term was popularized by Cal Newport, and basically it is a period that involves intense focus on something that's cognitively demanding that actually moves the needle forward in that area of your life. If we want to make the most of our time, it's generally better to spend the majority of it doing deep work as opposed to shallow work, which are typically the easier tasks that can be easily replicated, done while distracted, and don't really make a huge difference in the grand scheme of things. So this sounds great and all, but what do we actually do during a deep work session? Well, a lot of this depends on what you want to accomplish in your life. We need some kind of general destination, otherwise we'll fall trap to just kind of being productive for the sake of being productive. This general goal, vision, destination, whatever you want to call it, is one of the first things I usually try to help people figure out because it'll give us the foundation for which we can build out their daily routine and other life systems upon. A key caveat here is that we don't just want to think in terms of achievements. You often hear people get envious of super rich and successful people like Elon Musk, LeBron James, whoever it is, and they wish that they could accomplish or achieve the same things that they have, but they tend to overlook what the actual lifestyle is that these people live. Like, what does their day-to-day life actually look like? Because chances are that it might not align with the lifestyle that you would like to live. So in addition to thinking about specific goals and achievements, also consider what would the ideal day-to-day life experience be like for you? What things would make you truly enjoy your everyday life, and how is that ideal lifestyle different from your current lifestyle? Once we have those key differences in mind, we can align our deep work sessions to target those specific areas. So for example, for me, probably the most significant difference between my current lifestyle and ideal lifestyle is the fact that I still have to spend a large portion of my time working a day job for someone else that doesn't really bring me much fulfillment or the income needed to facilitate other aspects of my ideal lifestyle. Therefore, I think it makes the most sense for me to dedicate these deep work sessions towards growing a side hustle or business or something that can replace my day job. But it also doesn't have to be career related. The biggest difference between your current lifestyle and your ideal lifestyle could be about improving your health and fitness, or strengthening your relationships, spending more time with friends, family, loved ones. Lately, the tactic that I've been using to figure out which task to work on is to think about what feels the most difficult to do in that moment. What do I feel the most resistance to doing? Because that's usually an indication that doing that thing is a bit outside my comfort zone and there's a lot of room for growth in that area. When to do the work. So as I emphasized in the beginning of the video, you really don't need a lot of time to make significant progress. As long as you're picking the right tasks and staying completely focused during these deep work sessions, all you really need is like 1 hour a day to start seeing significant progress in anything in your life. When I first started this YouTube channel, I was still juggling multiple pursuits and didn't have the time or motivation to dedicate more than 1 hour per day on average. And that's just 7 hours per week total. And that might sound like a lot for some people. Like you're thinking, okay, I can't possibly find an extra 7 hours per week to work on this type of stuff. I'd remind you that this is 7 hours that are dedicated to building our ideal life and making life more enjoyable for us. So if you can't find just 1 hour per day to work on this, then it's probably an indication that you have too many commitments, you're saying yes to too many things, and you might need to reevaluate some of your priorities in life. As for the specific time of day, I found that I like mornings best. I can just wake up, do a quick morning routine, and then dive straight into some deep work. I also like mornings because they tend to be the most consistent time of day with the least amount of distractions. As much as I used to think that I was a night person and worked better in the evening time, I found that nothing really productive would ever get done late at night, so I eventually made the shift to becoming a morning person. So open up your calendar and add a 1 hour recurring event for deep work and put it as early in the day as possible. How to do the work. So you probably know firsthand that simply deciding what task to do and when to do it by no means guarantees that it actually gets done. Especially since deep work tasks tend to be more difficult, it's natural to feel some level of resistance. The good news is there are a few things that we can do to make doing the essential deep work feel as enjoyable and easy as possible. Environment. Optimize your environment to make sure that you have no distractions that could potentially take you out of a flow state. Also make sure that your environment is pleasant to be in. If your desk is a mess and your chair is uncomfortable, you're not going to want to spend much time working there. Clarify. Decide specifically what you want to accomplish during that deep work session and clearly define what completion looks like. For example, during my deep work session, if I said that I was going to work on YouTube channel, it's literally impossible to know when I've actually completed the task because I could work on my YouTube channel indefinitely. Instead, it'd be better to say something like, okay, by the end of this deep work block, I will have my 1 hour deep work routine video scripted out and ready to film, one foot in front of the other. Depending on the nature of the task that we set for ourselves, it might feel kind of overwhelming to do the whole thing at once. In these cases, it can be helpful to break it down into bite-sized pieces and focus on the immediate next action that we can take. So for example, let's say the thought of planning out this entire YouTube video felt kind of overwhelming to me. Instead of worrying about the whole thing, what I could do is think, okay, what's literally the first action that I need to take? Maybe it's simply set up my computer at my desk and open up Notion. So from there, I can just keep looking at the immediate next action and focusing my efforts on that. So once I've opened up Notion, I might as well create the new document for this video. And at that point, it's not that hard to just write down a few ideas, brain dump thoughts about the topic. And then from there, maybe I could just organize those ideas into an outline, then move on to just focusing on the intro, then the next point, etc., etc. If we just keep putting one foot in front of the other and focusing on the immediate next action, we'll gradually start to gain this momentum and it'll feel easier to keep going. Ritual. Another thing I help my clients do is to develop a deep work ritual. This is basically a system to help them get into the zone so that they have a step-by-step process to follow anytime they want to start doing some deep work. It's a similar idea to how before each game to get into the zone, Steph Curry will take a shot from the tunnel or LeBron will throw his chalk in the air. I also generally advise them to avoid using the popular Pomodoro technique, which is basically where you set a 25-minute timer, you focus for 25 minutes, it goes off, you take a 5-minute break, then you focus for another 25 minutes, take a 5-minute break. I don't know who came up with this, but it really goes against the principles of deep work, which is all about getting into a deep flow state. If you've ever tried the Pomodoro technique, you've probably found that the timer goes off and distracts us as soon as we get into the zone. This is the last thing that we would want to happen. I think this technique was really designed for people who are kind of at like level 0 productivity and struggle to do much of anything. So if you watch my videos, I imagine that you've probably graduated from that. Click subscribe to see more videos like this one. Do something today that your future self would thank you for.